Can Shakur Stevenson be the one to crack the code of Ryan Garcia? Obviously, Tank did it. We know that. But a lot of people like to talk about the rehydration clause, the catch weight that Ryan Garcia had to deal with. He was honestly depleted in that fight against Gervonta Tank Davis. But can Shakur Stevenson do something? A lot of people think that because Devin Haney lost to him, now Shakur Stevenson would get exposed. But a lot of people in the boxing world, the real ones, know that Shakur is a little bit different. Shakur kind of has a better measurement of his distance. He knows when he's in and out of range to get hit by a shot and when he's able to crack his opponent. So it does make it a little bit more interesting to think about the possibility of Shakur Stevenson and Ryan Garcia getting it on. Now that we've seen Ryan Garcia against a slick boxer and he's been able to crack that code. He's literally cracked the code because with that left hook, anything is possible for Ryan Garcia at this point. No matter how good of a boxer you are, and Ryan Garcia showed this, it doesn't matter to the point where, you know, if you get cracked by it doesn't matter how good of a boxer you are. If you get hit with a clean shot, you know, you're going down. That's what Ryan Garcia showed. He showed all that boxing. It doesn't mean anything when you get hit with a clean shot from a guy like Ryan, a guy that can really crack. But can Shakur Stevenson, you know, overcome that? Would he be able to outbox Ryan Garcia? And I honestly think that, you know, Shakur would give Ryan Garcia a very difficult fight. I'm not sure how realistic it is because Ryan talks about not being able to make 140. Shakur himself is still campaigning at 35, and if Ryan went to 47, Shakur said that, you know, he probably wouldn't take that fight. It's a big risk. He even talked about Devin Haney saying that he shouldn't have been in exchanges, and Shakur thought Devin was going to box him, and man, we all thought that. But ultimately, Ryan Garcia, you know, messed up his game plan by landing early, landing that hook early in the first round, where ultimately, you know, maybe Devin did think that he'd get cracked by Ryan, but not in the first round. The first round getting hit, that really throws you off because not only is your literal equilibrium off, but you also have to remember in terms of your mental headspace, I got cracked in the first round. Man, I got 11 more rounds to go. So Devin Haney was already in survival mode in the first round. You could kind of tell, even though he bagged those rounds from 2 to 5, that power was just too much. And whenever Ryan Garcia would land clean, Devin was hurt, and he was hurt bad. Ryan Garcia didn't even fight, you know, full rounds. He just fought in little waves, little spurts, and when he did step on the gas, he had a lot of success. You know, Ryan's power was undoubted. You know, in that fight, it was clear that his power is no joke. So going against a guy like Shakur would be a little bit different in my opinion. Obviously a southpaw, so it would be a little bit similar to that Tank fight where that left hook is there, but ultimately Shakur is going to be able to block it a little better because his lead hand will definitely just follow Ryan Garcia's left hand, and it should be easy to telegraph for, especially for a guy like Shakur who has a very good, you know, understanding and sense of distance and measurement. So I'm not sure Devin Haney had that same range, but we'll only find out how good Shakur is against a guy like Devin Haney, against a guy like Ryan Garcia, who's a big puncher, because we saw him against De Los Santos, who isn't as big as Ryan Garcia, 35-pounder, and, you know, Shakur was getting hit. But he still came out with the W. I think Shakur is one of those guys like that Ryan Garcia would have trouble with, but ultimately if he gets cracked by Ryan, you know, I can't help but think that something similar would happen to Shakur that happened to Devin. So as good as these boxers are, if you don't have that level of power to keep a guy off of you, it's going to be very hard in a fight to beat a guy like Ryan Garcia who's dangerous throughout that 12-round duration. You know, I don't think if Devin Haney couldn't stop Shakur at 140, I'm not sure Shakur would be able to stop Ryan at, you know, 140 or 47. Ultimately, Ryan's not going to make 40 anymore, so if Shakur did want to fight, he'd have to come up to 47, but boy, would he get paid. So there was talk about Ryan Garcia promising Shakur that if he beat Devin Haney, you know, you would be next. And I'm curious to see if Ryan Garcia is going to follow through with that. I just don't think Shakur is that big money fight that Ryan Garcia wants right now. Ryan Garcia is trying to make the biggest fights happen. I think more so the Tank fight, the Tank rematch is on Ryan Garcia's radar, and for good reason. I think that's the biggest fight in boxing right now. In terms of box office, pay-per-view, blockbusters, that's as big as it gets. But it's ultimately up to Ryan Garcia. He has a lot of options right now. It's all about selecting the right one. Teofimo Lopez is also a big fight. He talked about Jaron Boots Ennis. I think I'd prefer fighting Tio if I'm Ryan Garcia over Jaron Boots Ennis because You got to think, the risk to reward ratio is better if you beat a guy like TITO, who's very popular right now. Not to say that Boots isn't popular. I think he's just still evolving into that superstar where it's not worth him to beat him just yet. It's the same reasoning that Terrence Crawford has. Like, as good as Boots is, even though he'd probably give Terrence Crawford a hell of a fight, the juice isn't worth the squeeze in terms of the risk to reward ratio. The reward's not enough, but it's very high risk to fight a guy like Boots. So if I'm Ryan, I'm getting in there with TITO, which isn't an easy fight stylistically either, because TITO does have pop. He's very explosive, not like a guy like Devin Haney, where he can hit, he can crack, but at the same time, TITO's a lot more explosive in my opinion. I could see TITO giving Ryan a hard time, but that's a pick'em fight for me. TITO and Ryan is a mega fight, because these are two guys who've been very controversial, have been very entertaining, and they know how to promote fights. They know how to get the attention of people. A lot of people talk about how they act crazy and they do it for the sake of promoting a fight. But yeah, they both have that in common. So if these two were to collide in the ring, that would be a big fight as well. But ultimately, people make Shakur out to be the next Pernell Whitaker, the next Floyd Mayweather. So if they want to put him in there with Ryan Garcia, I don't know at what weight. It could be very dangerous for him. All the boxing, we know that Shakur is a great boxer, but ultimately, if you get cracked once, you could get cracked again against a guy like Ryan Garcia, and he showed that against Devin Haney. So if I'm Shakur Stevenson, I'm staying away from Ryan Garcia. There's no reason to jump in right away. Obviously, it'd be a great payday, but you have the excuse that the weight isn't close to you, that Ryan Garcia is at 47, you're still at campaigning 35 pounds. That 12 pounds difference in the sport of boxing makes a big difference. And we saw Ryan Garcia miss weight against Devin Haney. He looked very strong. So I think Ryan really just put the boxing world on notice that when he's strong, he could probably beat anybody. And no matter what you guys say about the boxing ability, when he has that left hook, it's a touch of God. Like that's literally magic. Like, you can't teach that. So throughout that 12-round duration, Shakur could be winning 10 rounds a shutout, but Ryan Garcia could land that left hook at any time and put Shakur's lights out. That's just the reality of the situation. It sounds silly, but it's the same thing as that Deontay Wilder effect, where maybe he's not the best boxer, but if he hurts you, especially if he hurts you in multiple rounds, it doesn't matter how many rounds you win, you could still very well lose. And Ryan Garcia just poses that threat. He's going to be a difficult fight. He's going to be a difficult fight and night in the office for anybody from 40 to 54, to be honest with you guys, because no matter what, he's growing. He's getting stronger every fight. Every time I see him, the physique looks bigger. He's getting a bigger frame, and I think Ryan's is very talented. He's very determined. He's got God on his side right now. All the antics, he knows how to promote himself. He's just on top of the world. It's going to be very difficult to beat a guy if you can't crack him, if you can't hurt him with your power. And you've got to have power to crack a guy like Ryan Garcia, because I think he does have a good chin. We've never seen him hurt like out on his feet like we saw Devin that past Saturday, but ultimately you have to have power to get Ryan Garcia's respect ultimately, and otherwise he's going to come forward and try to get you, take your head off, and do the same thing that he did to Devin. But let me know in the comments, do you guys think Shakur Stevenson will be the one to dethrone Ryan Garcia? Can he do it? Is that boxing good enough? I think his boxing's good enough to the point where he could give Ryan Garcia a lot of problems. It's all about swimming without getting wet. If he can stay away from that left hook, then he has a good shot. If not, it could be night-night for Shakur Stevenson. But who knows? Two great fighters, Ryan Garcia, Shakur. Could we see it next in the near future? Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that fight and who you got. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace. That's going to do it for another Naz Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.